for another Comics Weekly wrap-up where I share with you the books I've read this week. The first book I'm going to share with you guys, yeah, it's not in the thumbnail just because I really didn't think it wasn't a good fit for a cover photo. And plus it's something that is a part of last week's books that I didn't get to finish until recently. So I had to include it in this weekly wrap-up. And that book is Spider-Girl. I'm not really sure which volume it is, but I know that it is Betrayed. And I feel like this is a reread for me. I think I've read this like years ago, but I just didn't. It was before I started Goodreads, and it wasn't documented on my Goodreads. But it was very familiar to me just because of my gripes with it anyways. But one of the positives about this series, this is a later book, and I think that out of all those A-Next and all those alternate superhero future titles that Marvel tried, I think that Spider-Girl was one of the ones that lasted while the other ones just kind of fell off and they stopped writing or whatever. But this is pretty decent. Yes, Spider-Girl, she's been around for a while, so this is one of the later volumes. And one of the main gripes I have with this one is they introduce another Spider-Man, and it's some kid picking up the mantle of Spider-Man. Of course, his costume is different than the original Spider-Man. It's black and red with the webbing. But it's just a mystery as to who he is, and they kind of allude to the fact that he's Spider-Man's son somehow from Jessica Jones, I think her name is, who used to be Spider-Woman, and I guess she had a fling with Peter Parker, but they never reveal exactly who this Spider-Man is. They never show him without his mask on. And it's kind of sucks because they drop it off in the middle of this volume and it's never brought up again for the end of it. So it was kind of disappointing. And I don't know that if I'm going to pick up any further volumes to really find out who exactly he is. So I was kind of let down by that. So I did rate this only 3 out of 5 stars. Just because it's kind of, I gotta admit, it's shitty when you do something like that and you fall off and you don't reveal it. Why? Why do that? Next up we have Hellboy, Weird Tales. This is, I would say, recommended for those who are fans of Hellboy or if you've read the BRPD. Because if you're not a fan of Hellboy, you're probably not going to get much out of this. Well, anyways, what it is a collection of short stories that are in the Hellboy universe. They're drawn and written by different people, so yes, it is quite varied, and it's all quite good. Being that I do like Hellboy, I really like this. I did rate this 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. I liked it, but it wasn't that great where I would give it a 5 stars. Some of the stories were really lame and kind of boring. I mean, they're really short. They're only 4 or 5 pages each. So, I mean, they have to try to tell a story in a short amount of time. But, yeah. So, I really enjoyed it. And like I said, if you're a fan of the Hellboy or any of Mike Mignola or Mignola, I'm not sure how you say this guy's name. But if you're a fan of his work, then you'll definitely like these. We have X Factor, Heart of Ice. This was a much better X Factor than they've previously done. This wasn't just a detective story. It featured a villain named Huber who has these powers. He's got the ability of every living mutant on the planet. So he's got quite the power set. And for some reason, he decides to try to take down X Factor. I don't think it's really ever explained why he tries to do this, but it made for an interesting read. Although it was not that great, it was just average, so I rated it 3 out of 5 stars. Like I said, usually this X Factor reboot was just not that great because it was just a detective agency, but hey, it is what it is. After that, I picked up Hawkeye versus Deadpool Volume 1. And I don't know why they call this a versus book, because it is really a team-up. It is a team-up of Hawkeye and Deadpool. This guy shows up for some reason on Halloween night at Hawkeye's apartment. He's got a thumb drive with some secrets on it. I'm not going to spoil the story because I don't want to tell you what exactly it's about. And they're going to try to track down and figure out what's going on. So it is a mystery. It was slightly funny. The jokes weren't as lame as the typical older Deadpool stuff. But, you know, it was a decent read. And I think I rated this one 3 out of 5 stars as well. It was okay. It wasn't that great, but yeah, I think if you're a fan of Hawkeye, like that Hawkeye solo book, you might like this because it does feature the 2 Hawkeyes, Kate Bishop and the Cliff Barton one, which for some reason he's deaf, and I don't understand. They never explain that. I never knew Hawkeye was deaf before or how he lost his hearing. I don't know what happened with that, but it happened sometime. So I think this is where I'm going to end my Comics Weekly wrap-up. I just have 2 more books to share with you guys for the week. And the first one of those is going to be Batman 66. Now this is based on, of course it's based on the Adam West Batman from the 60s and 70s, I do believe. I don't know. I just know that it was an older TV show that I remember they used to show reruns of it either on MTV or someplace. I remember seeing reruns of it someplace when I was a kid. So anyways, it's based on that. It's kind of like poppy, campy. The artwork was really cool because I liked how they used the little dots. And it was kind of psychedelic or surreal at times. But I really thought that was cool. And another thing, I didn't expect this to be great or good because let's face it, it's Batman 66. It's kind of campy and it's bad. But I thought it was kind of cool that they introduced like kind of modern characters like Dr. Quinzel, who is Harley Quinn. And yes, the Red Hood isn't really a new character. I mean, he was introduced a long, long time ago, but people just forgot about him. The Red Hood. And I thought that was kind of neat that they brought back the Red Hood for this too. So yeah, those were the things that really saved this from being really bad rating. So I only rated this 3 out of 5 stars. It was just okay. I really don't think that I'm interested in picking up the other volumes of this. It just wasn't worth that much to invest in reading. After that, I read Feitel Volume 4, and this one is called Pray for Rain. And it's been a while since I read Feitel. I just know that it's about this lady named Josephine. She's a muse or a siren. I don't exactly know what she is, but she has some kind of power over men and stuff like that. And this book, I love this book because it's got the great combination of crime, suspense, mystery, and horror to it that it sucks you in and you just cannot wait to finish it. It's just such a good book. So I really, really enjoyed this one, and I don't want to say too much about it because it is part of a short run series. I think it was a 5-volume series. And if I reveal too much, especially being that it's book 4 and you've never read this before, I really don't want to spoil it for you. But I really enjoyed it. If you're into horror and mystery and crime and all that, in like different time periods, you might really enjoy this yourself. So yeah, I rated this one 4 out of 5 stars. I really liked it. It was really good, and I want to pick up the other books and see what happens in this story. Well, anyways, that's my latest Comics Weekly wrap-up. Questions, comments, as always. Thanks for watching. Leave any recommendations you got or any comments if you've read any of these books down below.